Hare नमस्ते नरसिंहाय Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to one and all.
Hare Krishna.
Let's all put our hands up. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
On behalf of the Lamarsi Namahasha and the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, founded by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, a very, very warm welcome. It is indeed a very special evening, as our guest speaker is actually coming from very, very far, all the way from Australia.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And also I see faces here that are new, that are coming for the first time. We have Chakradhari Prabhu that came and rendered such lovely kirtan. We have Chansan Prabhu, I'm getting the name right. Chansan Prabhu that's also here that played such beautiful harmonium. We have Kamal here with us. Yes, Kamal is one of our regulars and we always enjoy his Vedanta playing. And we see so many new faces in the crowd. I see Auntie Lalita Mataji coming from Johannesburg. A very warm welcome to you. How many of you all are here joining for the first time or maybe the second time even? Wow, let's give them a huge round of applause. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all at our future programs as well. So it is my honor and privilege in introducing our speaker for this evening. He is Grace Nrikesari Das. Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Dev Amrisha Maharaj. He is originally from Germany and joined ISKCON about 10 years ago, after which he spent a few years as a monk, traveling and preaching in many places, including Australia, the UK, Germany, Mexico, and the US. Nrikesari Prabhu is a renowned astrologer and an enthusiastic preacher. He currently lives in Australia, where he is specializing further in his astrological and social work studies, and continues to offer guidance and support to many people as one of his services. So we are all indeed very, very fortunate to hear Prabhu speak today. So a huge round of applause to him once again. Sorry, what? While Prabhu is getting ready, there will be a clipboard that will be coming around. This clipboard is for questions. So as Prabhu is speaking, if you have any questions, please feel free to write it on the clipboard and Prabhu will most certainly answer your questions. Hare Krishna.
That was such a wonderful kirtan.
Oh, thank you so much.
No one told me that the Gandavars are visiting Derby. I feel like in Mayapur. I feel like being in Mayapur. Thank you so much. So we're going to do one more short kirtan, one prayer, and then we begin with our class for tonight. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janga Vallabha Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya I'm going to offer my prayers to my spiritual teachers and gurus, and then we start our class. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manoabhishtam Shtabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Padijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak something here tonight. I heard there's a few people here for the first time, for the second time. There's a few people here who might have been here for more than 20 years or more. So I'm trying to speak something that is of interest for everyone. And the topic that I choose for tonight, I gave it a title, The Side Effects of Bhakti, Position, Power, and Love for God, or Krishna Prema, with a question mark. Because actually love for God is not a side effect of Bhakti, it is the actual effect. But sometimes along with the actual fruit of practicing Krishna consciousness, sometimes as a side effect, other things in life can happen as well. And I came up with this title because recently I was reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is they say it is the PhD in Bhakti. I think everyone here knows the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the ABC of spiritual life. And in our tradition, there is 3 books, actually there's 4 books which are most important. The first one is the Bhagavad Gita. I guess everyone knows about it, the ABC. Then there's Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like your postgrad degree in spiritual life. And then we have Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is like the PhD. And just to give a bit more of an introduction to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, let me check actually. Who here has read Bhagavad Gita? At least once. Nice. Who has read at least one word in Bhagavad Gita? Okay, same. Pretty good. Cool. Who here has read Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay. It's a good book actually. Okay, who here has read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita? Okay, sure. I can really recommend to all of you, there's some good books out there if you ever get a chance. So, Srila Prabhupada, to start this Krishna consciousness movement, his spiritual teacher, his spiritual master, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, if there's ever a big flood, I don't know, South Africa floods, it does, India does, Australia did recently, believe it or not. And he said if there's ever a big flood, then there's 3 books that you want to take with me to preserve for the future. And that is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. But he said, once you carry those books, they're quite big. Like Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is that's 1 volume of 10. And Srimad Bhagavatam comes in the same size in 18. And Bhagavad Gita comes like this. So he said you take all of them. But then if the flood is too much and it gets too difficult, then he said you can drop one of them. So which one do you drop first? Bhagavad Gita. He said you let go of Bhagavad Gita. But then let's say if you can't, you're struggling to swim, you're struggling to float at the top, then you can let go of one more. And that is Srimad Bhagavatam. But whatever happens, he said, don't let go of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because actually in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find everything that is in Bhagavatam and everything that is in the Bhagavad Gita. Because it is the final conclusion. And we try to keep it simple since there's a lot of there's a newer audience here. But Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it speaks about Lord Chaitanya. Hands up, who has ever heard of Lord Chaitanya before? Cool, that's really good. So, Lord Chaitanya, he is non-different from Krishna. So who is Krishna, right? We learn in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam prabhatate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha bhava samanvitaha. Thank you. So he says, I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. And the wise who perfectly know this, they engage in my devotional service. So we understand Krishna is the Supreme Person. And especially in India, there's a lot of confusion about it. Because Krishna gets portrayed in so many different ways. And Krishna, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, he made it clear who he is. He performed wonderful activities. But after that, he was concerned. He felt, I came, I gave the highest knowledge, I gave the Bhagavad Gita, I performed, I translated the pastimes, but still, there's so many people out there who don't understand me. There's still so many people who don't know who I am. So he appeared again, just very recently, just 500 years ago in India, and he appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he did not display himself as a supreme person. Like as Krishna, he lifted Govardhan hill with his little finger. He expanded himself into multiple forms and married 16,108 wives. He performed miraculous activities that no one else could perform. He revealed his universal form to Arjuna, showing that the whole creation is contained in him and that he's controlling everything. So he clearly showed who he is. But when he appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared in hidden form. He appeared as a great devotee. So he actually tried to deny that he is God himself. But he tried to appear in the mood of a devotee, of a follower of Krishna, of a servant of Krishna, to teach everyone how to serve Krishna. Because he felt when he came to teach Bhagavad Gita, when he came to teach, to reveal himself, not everyone got it. And that's a little background about who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya obviously refers to him. Charita means adventures. Amrita means nectar. So the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the nectarian adventures of Mahaprabhu, of Lord Chaitanya. And at the very end of this book, in one of the later chapters, we hear this pastime of the deliverance of Gopinath Patanaya. And that is the story that I would like to share with you today. A story which really shows the actual fruit of spiritual life, which is attraction to God, which is love for Krishna, which is a higher standard of life. But it also shows the side effects that accrue sometimes, which are, in that scenario we were here, position, power, and all of that actually everyone wants, right? These days, people, when you try to give a talk about God, about spirituality, except for this place here, not many people will come. But if we speak about position and power, then naturally many people come. So I thought I'd put that in the title. I wanted to spice it up a little bit. So, the first, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, we can divide his life into 3 portions. And the first portion, he was living in Navadvip, and he started preaching Krishna consciousness. He was preaching spiritual life. He was preaching a higher philosophy. But if people would misunderstand him, people would not really respect him as much as would be good for them. So at the age of 24, he took sannyas, which basically, for anyone who's not from India, means he became a monk. And he started traveling the world, traveling India. So the first 24 years he spent in Navadvip. The next 6 years, predominantly, he was preaching and traveling. And the last 18 years he spent in Jagannath Puri. And now, we are in the last 18 years. He is living in Jagannath Puri, and he's showing the world how to worship Krishna by his own example. Now, within that narrative, we see that there is one of his great devotees. His name is Gopinath Patanaya. Has anyone here ever heard of the story of Gopinath? Hands up. One, because I told you before. Amazing. Great. So, basically, there was this great devotee, we can say, there was this devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was employed, like they told me that here in Durban you like stories, so I thought I'd start off with a story. So, this great devotee, Gopinath, he was a tax collector, and he was collecting taxes for the king. At that time in Puri, 500 years ago, there was King Prataparudra, and it is said that Gopinath, after he was collecting taxes throughout the villages, he was 200,000 conchas, he was 200,000 short. So the king, the son of the king, he approached him, and he wanted to punish him for that. And he told Gopinath that you have to give this money back. And Gopinath said, that is fine, I have a lot of horses, set me a good price and I'll give you my horses. The prince, he looked at Gopinath and he didn't like him, because Gopinath, he had a lot of trust in the king, he had a good relationship with the king, so he thought that nothing can happen to him, so he got a little proud. So this prince, he had a habit of rotating his head and looking up and looking in the sky. So the prince wanted to get the horses for a cheaper price from Gopinath, but Gopinath, he said that you should not take them for a cheaper price, because after all, my horses, they don't do this. So he was implying they're better than you. So the prince, he got really upset, and he said, I'm going to punish you. And he lifted him on the changa. The changa, it's an Indian device back in the days when there's a capital punishment. And they raised swords on the ground. So they lifted Gopinath on the changa, and the idea was that they would just bear and kill him. So because he was a devotee, then other devotees got naturally concerned, like we care for our family. So also in the devotee community, we're like family members. They got all concerned, what is happening? What will happen to him? He will die. So naturally they went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they asked him for help. So they came to him and they asked him, they told him, oh Mahaprabhu, oh Sri Chaitanya, your devotee is about to get killed, you have to protect him. Now, you have to understand a little bit about Indian culture. If there is a sannyasi, if there is a monk, in general, he will not go and ask the king for something, because the king is a very rich person, very opulent. He enjoys life to the fullest extent. He has money, he has woman, he has all facility for material enjoyment. A monk lives a completely opposite life. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that I'm a sannyasi, I'm a monk. Do you want me to go to the king and beg? I can maybe beg for 5 conchets or 5 conchets, but begging for 200,000, that is not appropriate for a sannyasi, for a monk. Soon after that, some other devotees came to him. And they didn't know what happened before. That was before like Facebook and WhatsApp. So they also came, they said, oh Mahaprabhu, the situation is getting worse. Now Gopinath is standing on the Changa, he's about to be thrown in and get spared and like get pierced by swords. You have to do something. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, he said, I'm a monk. It is not my matter, it's not my business to get involved into politics. If he has stolen from the king, then actually he should get punished. Right? Just after that, again, another devotee came. And he said the same thing. Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, you have to do something. It can't continue like this. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got very angry. He said, stop bothering me. I'm a monk. I'm here in Puri. I'm just here to worship God. I'm not involved anymore in business, in politics. I'm not involved with kings and worldly people. If you want to know how to serve the Lord, I can help you with that. But I'm not involved in those worldly matters. Please stop disturbing me. If you want Gopinath to be safe, then just pray to Lord Jagannath, just pray to Krishna. And at the same time as he said that, there was another person who was not around with the devotees. It just happened at the same time. His name was Harichandan Patra. And he noticed what happened to Gopinath, and he immediately went to King Prataparudra, and he told him what happened. You see, this person, he should not get punished. Actually, if you kill him now, you won't get any money back. Anyways. It was a misunderstanding. The king, he heard this person, and he actually was not aware of what is happening. After all, it was his prince who got a little offended, and Gopinath got released. Just after that, the king visited Kashi Mishra. We're halfway through the story. Just after that, the king visited Kashi Mishra. And this king at the time in Puri, Prataparudra, he was also a great devotee. So he was following the etiquette. So as a king, what would a king do in those Vedic times, or even 500 years ago in Jagannath Puri? He would visit the Brahmins, he visited the priestly people, and he would serve them. So King Prataparudra, he went to visit Kashi Mishra, as he would do every day, and then serve the saintly persons. And Kashi Mishra told this king that, oh, did you hear? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's really upset because his devotee, Gopinath Patanya, is on the Changa. I was lifted to the Changa. He was about to get killed. And dozens of devotees came to approach him to ask for help. He even said he's going to leave Jagannath Puri and he's going somewhere else because he can't be bothered with this worldly business. The king, he was very disturbed because he knew, he was one of the few people who knew that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was none different from Krishna. So he went to him and he told Kashi Mishra that, oh, I don't want to give any trouble to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I don't want to give any trouble to Krishna. Please, what you can do, please tell him that I will not punish Gopinath. He is as dear to me as my family. I will not even take away his job. I will put him back on his job. I will give him some nice silken clothes. I will honor him with a silken chadar. Not only that, his family should never be hungry. I will even double his salary. If he was stealing money because he had not enough, I will double his salary. But Kashi Mishra said, you don't understand. Mahaprabhu, he doesn't want all of this. If he thinks that you gave Gopinath all of this because of him, he will think that he secretly influenced the king and that he helped you. And he is a very renounced monk who doesn't want to have to do anything with worldly matters. So the king said, then please, then just tell Mahaprabhu that I don't want him to leave this town, and just tell him that Gopinath is fine. So shortly after that, the king left. He met Gopinath. He apologized. He gave him a silken chadar as he promised. He gave him his job back. He gave him a promotion. He got double his salary. And then, lastly, Kashi Mishra went back to visit Mahaprabhu. He informed him of everything that happened. And then Gopinath also joined Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he told them that, and Gopinath, he came to Mahaprabhu and he said that, actually I will read that section to you, what the Gopinath told Kashi Mishra. You have to understand that when he came and visited Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was not really interested in helping Gopinath because he didn't want to be approached for material matters. That is very important. He did not want to be approached for material matters. And he actually asked the devotees who all came to see him and who asked help for Gopinath. He asked them, after Gopinath got released from the Changa, he asked him what was he doing as he was there about to die. And they told him that, he was chanting Hare Krishna. He was just chanting continuously. And whenever he was chanting a certain number of names, he was making a mark. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu obviously was pleased with that, even though he did not express it. So now, imagine that you would be in the situation of this person of Gopinath. You just got saved, your life got spared, you got your job back, and you got double the salary, and you got some nice new cloth. So he got so much material benefit. But when he comes to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually expresses that there is something much more than that that is important, that he did not get. So let's read that. The king has excused me for the balance due, he said. He has reappointed me to my post by honoring me with the silken cloth and has doubled my salary. I was lifted upon the Changa to be killed, but instead I was honored with the silken cloth. This is all your mercy. On the Changa I began meditating upon your lotus feet, and the power of that remembrance has yielded all these results. Struck with wonder by my affairs, the populace is glorifying the greatness of your mercy. Like the people in the village, they would go around, they would say, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is so amazing. Like we approached him for help, and now look at Gopinath. He got new cloth, he got more money, he got his job back. How great is the Lord? But actually, Gopinath is saying, however, my Lord, these are not the principal results of meditating upon your lotus feet. Material opulence is very flickering. Therefore, it is simply a glimpse of the result of your mercy. And Prabhupada, in the purport, He writes, one can achieve the highest perfection of life simply by meditating upon the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally, people are concerned with the four religious principles, namely religion, material opulence, sense gratification, and liberation. However, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma Prachita Kaita Votra, success in these four kinds of material and spiritual gain are not the true results of devotional service. The true result of devotional service is the actual development of one's dormant love for Krishna in every circumstance. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gopinath Pathanaya could understand that the material benefits he had achieved were not the ultimate result of meditating upon his lotus feet. The true result comes when one is detached from material opulences. Therefore, Gopinath Pathanaya prayed to the Lord for such detachment. It's very interesting because we can see that in general, when people pray to God, we can see it in India, we can see it outside of India. We can often see people praying to God to solve their material problems. That is very common, right? In Christianity, we pray for our daily bread. I practice astrology, so people come to me all the time and they say, which prayer I have to do to get the wife? Which prayer I have to do to get more money? Which prayer I have to do for that? So that is what people want, right? We all want material security. And many people, when they come to religion, or when they come to religious gathering, that is also what they're looking for, right? They're looking to improve their material situation. This is what Prabhupada explains when he says, generally people are concerned with the four religious principles, namely religion, dharma, material opulence, artha, sense gratification, karma, and liberation. But we can see in this pastime how Gopinath understood that this is actually not the reason that you should approach the Lord. The actual reason why we should approach Him, he mentions in the next verse. He says that the real reason why we should approach God or Krishna is to redevelop our relationship with Him, is to develop love for Him. And in the Nectar of Devotion, which is the fourth of the primary books in our tradition, there's so many, but those are the four primary ones: Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is called the Science of Bhakti Yoga. There it actually gives the real 6 characteristics or results of practicing bhakti or practicing service to the Lord. But in this story, we see the side effects. We see the effects. Yes, you get a silk and shutter, you get a good job, you get double the salary, and your life is spared, right? In this scenario. And later we will also hear how Gopinath approaches Mahaprabhu to actually get the real result of his worship, which is love for Krishna. But the Nectar of Devotion explains the actual result of someone practices. Number 1, even though you don't approach the Lord even though if you approach the Lord not asking to solve our material problems, even though we don't approach Him to ask for a raise in our job, even though we don't approach Him to ask for material benefits. It is said that if a person approaches the Lord and he starts to serve Him without any ulterior motive, without any the other desire than just to get to know Him and to connect with Him, then the first effect is that a person, he will become peaceful and he won't feel the anxieties of material life. He won't feel the pains of material existence. The second effect is that his life will become all auspicious. which means that a lot of good things are going to happen to him, right? And the third effect is that he will relish transcendental happiness, a happiness which is very superior to anything that is material, in a way that it is not temporary. Here Gopinath says material opulence, it is very flickering. Because if we pray to the Lord for opulence, maybe we get it, but the next moment it can be taken away again, so actually there's no ultimate benefit. And therefore also Krishna, or here in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually does not like it as much if someone approaches him with material desires. He prefers if someone comes to him with a pure heart. That is the epitome. That is the epitome. That is the highest. That is the actual mode that we should have when we approach Krishna. For example, soon Janmashtami is coming up, Krishna's birthday, and I'm sure hundreds of thousands of devotees are coming to the program that you have or visiting the temple. And when we approach Krishna on Janmashtami also, we should not ask him to fulfill our material desires, but we should pray that we can understand and that we can learn from him, that we can connect and that we can serve him. We should at least try. And of course, initially, this might not be there in our heart. And Krishna also knows that. So in the Bhagavad Gita, he says there's 4 types of people which approach him. He says, number one person who approaches him, he's very distressed and he's desiring peace of mind. He's just suffering, he's distressed in his world, and he's desiring shelter. And Krishna says this person is very pious. The second person who approaches him is a person who desires wealth, who is in need of money. In the West, this is not so common, but in India we see this a lot. Many people go to the temple because they want the result, they want the fruit. The third person who approaches the Lord is a person who's just curious, who's inquisitive, who just likes to know more about life. And the fourth person, he's actually the most dear to Krishna. He's a person who's after knowledge of God, right? So also all of us coming here to Krishna consciousness, coming here today, or even meeting the devotees and getting involved, most of us were one of these 4 initially. So if you came to this today, to this gathering, you're here for the first time, and maybe it was not in your mind that you had this desire to really know God and to serve God unconditionally, not because you wanted to solve your problems, not because you want more wealth, not because you're anything of that sort. But if you just came for one of those reasons, that is completely fine. Krishna knows that and he appreciates it. He appreciates it. He says those people are pious, that is so nice that they come to me. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna explains it doesn't matter whether a person is full of material desires, whether he has no material desires, or whether he desires liberation. In any case, they should just worship me. Because as they engage in the process of serving me, they will become clear, they become purified of those material tendencies. And if we have been in Krishna consciousness for a long time, then actually also we should try to give up this mentality of trying to ask the Lord to solve our problems. And we should, if we can, we should try to serve the Lord with a mood that is unconditional, without any material motive, without any desire, uninterrupted. Anya Bilashita Shunyam, it is explained in the Nectar of Devotion also that devotional service or the improvement in Bhakti, it really depends on the attitude of the performer. And what should be the attitude? The attitude with which we should go in front of the Lord, the attitude with which we should go to the temple, the attitude with which we should visit a program like that. Ideally is that we can serve Krishna without any ulterior motive. We want to cultivate such an attitude. And we can see this. Like, in one way, we can see this exemplified in this pastime. I was reading this pastime as I was traveling here, so I thought I'd share it with you. Gopinath himself, he was raised on the Changa to get killed, which obviously I hope none of us ever will come in such a situation. But he himself, actually, he was only meditating on Krishna. He was only praying on Krishna, only praying to Krishna. And all these other devotees, they cared for him, so they approached him. So from a material point of view, there was one thing that happened in this pastime, and that is Mahaprabhu, he was acting like a renunciant, like a monk, and he did not want to associate with the king, and he was saying, I don't want to be involved in those worldly matters, from an external point of view. And Gopinath, from an external point of view, he was there, he was chanting Hare Krishna, and he was praying to be protected. But on a higher level, we can see that actually Gopinath, he was praying for protection, but actually he was not worried about his life because he was a great devotee. He was just worried that I cannot continue my service if something happens. And even the devotees also, they also actually understood that they're not just concerned about Gopinath for the sake of any bodily attachment, but they were actually concerned about what they were caring for the devotees. When Gopinath saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked him that, he told him, he continued, and he said, your real mercy has been granted to Ramananda Roy and Vaninath Roy, for you have detached them from all material opulence. I think that I have not been favored by such mercy. Kindly bestow upon me your pure mercy, so that I may also become renounced. I'm no longer interested in material enjoyment. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, if you all adopt the renounced order, means if you all become monks and you just give up all material enjoyment, and if you lose interest in dealing with pounds, shillings, and pennants, then who will take charge of maintaining your large family? Whether you're involved in material activities or become completely renounced, you 5 brothers are all my eternal servants, birth after birth. There's also one important lesson to learn here, that for a person who becomes a devotee, who does not ask Krishna to resolve his material problems, number 1, Krishna will automatically resolve them. Number 2, for a person, that doesn't mean that he or she loses their material drive. We can see that Gopinath himself, he was a family person. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can see Arjuna, he was also a family person. So this process is not about giving up our material, like giving up all our material attachments and becoming, how shall we say, unresponsible. It's not about becoming unresponsible and not fulfilling our material duties or stopping to provide for others. No, we can see in this pastime clearly that even though Gopinath decided that even though he surrendered to Mahaprabhu, and even though he told him that you have saved my life, you have given me a raise in position, you have even doubled my salary, I've even got this nice silk and chadar, but all those are not the real fruits of worshiping you. The real fruit actually is to get material detachment and to get devotion for you. So in the same way also, you can see for a family person, it does not mean that we have to give up. It does not mean that we have to give up our position or salary or anything like that. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, he explains to them that you're my eternal servant. You just have to learn to, you can just engage all these things in my service. So also in the Nectar of Devotion, we hear about Yukta Vairagya, which means engaging everything in Krishna's service. One point that is nice or great to understand is that worshipping the Lord or worshipping different demigods, as is very common in India, for material benefit. That is called karma kanda. Means we're doing good karma, we're trying to do good actions to get good benefits. And in one way, we hear in Bhagavad Gita, that is the beginning of human life. A person, he understands that there is a reaction to his actions, that there's someone controlling this universe. And in that sense, that is good, that is the beginning. But then we hear further in Bhagavad Gita that that is really not the end of the story. That higher than that, higher than a person who just accrues good karma, who just follows righteousness, who just follows dharma, higher than a person who just goes to a temple and it doesn't really matter whose temple it is, you just give some money, you hope you get more back than what you gave. Or you go to church and you pray, please give me a new car, or please give me something like that. Higher than that, Krishna explains, is a karma yogi. This is a person who offers his actions to the Lord. Like now, it's not just a person who does good karma to get good results. No, now this is a person who does actions, and whatever he gains, he tries to offer to Krishna to start building his relationship. And higher than that is a person who, a jnana yogi, a person who tries to understand the Lord, who tries to get knowledge of who is the Lord actually, and tries to connect with him in that way. And even higher than that, he explains, is a person who tries to develop love for him, a bhakti yogi, a devotee. So, if we're intelligent, then we can just jump to that level, and we can just try to engage in this process of pleasing Krishna. By coming here, hearing discussions on Krishna, and trying to understand the science that he gives and how to connect with him, by hearing books like the Bhagavad Gita, or for those who read the Bhagavad Gita already, to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, which not many people here have read actually. It would be really nice if I come here again in a year and there would be some more hands, that'd be so great. And then next, also to read the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then you can read Bhagavad Gita again, and then you can take your cycles, and like this you can read for your entire life. You will never get bored. Because by hearing about Krishna, we can understand who he is and how to connect to him. And in that way we can develop a desire for him. And then when we engage in chanting the Mahamantra and chanting his name, so engaging in service, we will get so much flavor, we get so much taste. As I mentioned before, one of the qualities of Bhakti is that a person, he experiences transcendental pleasure and he gets relieved of all material anxiety. And any person who has tasted this even once, he won't be able to return to his normal life. And that is why we see there's so many people outside of India from a very different cultural background who all take up Krishna consciousness because they can get a taste that they can get nowhere else. So, I mentioned everything that I wanted to share with you tonight. If there's any questions, then I can answer some questions. Yeah? Okay. Okay. So the first question, Hare Krishna. I'm doing bhakti in all possible ways, but still my anarthas are not going away. Please advise. That's a very nice question. So in the process of bhakti, it is described as 9 stages. So the first stage, the first stage is Shraddha. It starts with faith. Then comes Sadhu Sangha, the association of, because a person has some faith, He seeks the association of persons who are godly, who are saintly, who know more, who have more faith. That is called sadhu sangha. Like we have sadhu, saintly people, sangha associating with each other. And when you associate with saintly people, then what they do is they engage you in the service of Krishna or the service of God. That's called bhajana kriya. And as we engage in bhajan and in serving the Lord and doing kirtan, in hearing or speaking about these transcendental topics, as we engage in service, our heart will get cleansed. That is called anartha nivritti. And slowly we lose the taste for material desires, which ultimately don't give us that satisfaction that we're all looking for. And then the next stage after anartha nivritti is nishtha. A person, he develops steadiness. Now, steadiness in bhakti, it means this person, naturally his mind goes to Krishna. Naturally he's thinking of Krishna. Naturally he's not thinking of Facebook or the latest YouTube feed. Naturally he's not thinking of checking his Instagram timeline. Naturally he's just thinking of Krishna. And for that reason he's very happy. And that's why the next stage is ruchi. He has great taste for Krishna. Now, we're all aspiring to work to increase our bhakti and to level up in those stages. Now, many of us are in the stage anartha nivritti, which is a purifying stage, which is the stage where we're trying to purify our anarthas. Our anarthas are those bad habits in our heart. So now this question is, this person is practicing, but he feels that anarthas, that those desires, those material desires, which only cause havoc, are not going away. So now anartha nivritti is quite a long stage, it just takes some time. And to really answer this question profoundly for this individual who asked the question, would be actually really nice to know what is he doing, or what is she doing? Because when I was in Germany a few years ago, there was this amazing devotee, Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu, by now he might be a sannyasi, and he mentioned that a higher taste in Krishna consciousness is not a luxury, but it is a necessity. So all of us are here because at some point in our life, we got some higher taste from Krishna consciousness. At some point in our life, we came to a program and the speaker said something and we thought, wow, this was amazing. Or we ate a prasadam and we thought, wow, this is just so much better than anything else. Or we went into a kirtan and we had an experience that we nowhere else before by listening to any other music. So we all came in because of this higher taste. And now, what this very nice devotee was sharing with me is that this higher taste, it is not a luxury. It is not that we have it sometimes in our spiritual life. No. It is actually necessary. It should always be there. Because it is only by this higher taste that we can give up lower material desires. So, I would advise this devotee who asked this question to find out what is it that this gives you this higher taste in your relationship with Krishna. What is it that allows you to experience Krishna and to actually relish that exchange? And do that more and more and try to bring that, make that a center in your life. Because in the same way, if a person is very full, if a person just ate a very nice feast here, like we're going to serve soon, and drives past McDonald's on the way home, he won't be attracted to McDonald's. Because the food at McDonald's, it can't compare to the feast served here. But let's say, for argument's sake, if there would be no feast here, and also the person didn't eat the whole day, and he drives past McDonald's, chances are there could be some attraction because you're empty. So in the same way also, if we're not filled with spiritual pleasure, then we seek for it outside. And sometimes, last point on that question, sometimes what I've seen is that when we start activities in spiritual life, when we start activities in the mode of goodness, Krishna writes, speaks about Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning they're like poison, right? And then at the end they're like nectar. So sometimes it might take a little bit, like for example reading. Some people, they don't like reading so much. And in the beginning they find it very difficult. But I noticed if they just do it every day, a little bit, for let's say 2 weeks only, soon they will develop taste. The same for anything in Krishna consciousness actually, any service, whatever it is. If you just keep doing it, in a very short time you can develop great taste. So that is my advice on that question. Second, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please advise on the connection or importance of the link of astrological knowledge in reference to spiritual life or devotee in Krishna consciousness. Okay. So, actually, in one way, astrology, there were many Vaishnavas in the past who have done astrology, actually. Even Srila Vyasadeva, who's the author, who wrote the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and who also wrote the Mahabharata, and who actually compiled the Vedas, who made sure they got put into writing. His father, Parashara Muni, he wrote a great astrological classic called Briya Parashara Hora Shastra. So we can see it is part of Vaishnava culture. Now, the question is, please speak about the connection and importance. It is definitely connected. What is the importance? In one way, we could say, it is not necessary. In one way, it is not necessary. A person, he can just chant Hare Krishna. He can just practice. He can hear, associate with devotees, and ultimately he will always be fine. However, sometimes, especially in the beginning, material life can be so, our material association can be so challenging, and our problems, they can appear so big that we don't have the required strength to really give everything, or to give even a little bit. So then you can see an astrologer. He can help in identifying your nature. He can help you to tell you the right occupation so that you're properly situated. He can see if there's any problem coming up. He can prepare you. And ultimately, there is always a Vaishnava remedy, which usually involves one of the Dasha avatars. But that is secondary to Bhakti. Actually, Bhakti has the power to solve all problems. So there's no need for astrology. But sometimes it can be it can give some help. Like in the same way, sometimes when children are very small, they don't know how to ride a bike, so you give them another wheel on it. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna, you mentioned 4 books which are important. Which is the 4th? I was thinking if someone would ask the question, but I mentioned it afterwards. It's the Nectar of Devotion, the Science of Bhakti Yoga. Those 4 books are very important, and I can only emphasize, and not enough, to try to read all of them. Has your career in astrology affected your faith and belief in religion? Do you believe that science and religion can act as one contrary to some beliefs that it can't? I have to read it again. I'm sorry. Has your career in astrology affected your faith and belief in religion? Do you believe that science and religion can act as one contrary to some beliefs that it can't? I think the question is whether religion and science can go together. Is that correct? Yeah? Is that how you should understand the question? Cool. So, I think it is the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. Even in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, he writes that this presentation of Bhagavad Gita is meant to bring together science and religion. Because religion, without science, it's just sentimentalism. It's very emotional, just very sentimental. But then science without religion, it's just dry speculation, because there is no higher experience involved. There's no higher purpose. It is very cold. Like, what is it all for? Why? All these questions are not really answered. And also, without religion, it's very limited how much you can perceive. So, Prabhupada writes in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita that both of them have to go together. And now, in regards to my career in astrology, I must admit that actually studying astrology has definitely reaffirmed my faith in religion, because it really forces you to understand how mature nature works. Yeah, because I must tell you that the modern scientific worldview of the world is actually not very logical and is not very rational either. And I could teach you a whole seminar just on that, but we can't. So whoever asks this question, I can just recommend a little bit. Actually, I recommend this person to see me later, and I give all my recommendations. But there is some very amazing work by Akhandadi Prabhu, who is a Srila Prabhupada disciple, and he gave a 40-hour seminar on. He was the head of the Bhakti Manor, and he likes to push on the Vedic Institute for Higher Education, and he gave a 40-hour seminar defying a lot of the mainstream materialistic theories that are going on. Number one, he's defying just from a scientific point of view how the brain does not create consciousness, or how actually consciousness controls the brain. And he gives you 10 hours on it. And you hear Prabhupada say that all the time, but he gives 10 hours on it. And very well presented, very scientifically presented. Then he spends another 10 hours on how consciousness can change matter, another 10 hours speaking about evolution, and then another 10 hours on Big Bang. And actually he brings in the scriptures, but he does not argue on the basis of the scriptures, he actually argues on the basis of science. So I can highly recommend a seminar. It's on YouTube, it's called Atma Paradigm. And I think it's very important, at least for some devotees who are scientifically orientated, to understand that. And then for some devotees, very small portion, to study astrology from devotees, that's also very good. To learn a bit more, how does material nature work? Because Bhagavad Gita is all about how to get free of entanglement. How do the three modes of nature entangle a person, and how to actually not how to entangle, but also how to get out of that entanglement. And that is important. Most important is what everyone has to know: how to untangle yourself. Right? That is the essence. Now, astrology will just tell you how entangled are you exactly. Where is the rope? Where is it? Like, how tight is it? But at the end, we always have to remember the goal is to get out. And sometimes the devotees can get a little lost in how stuck they are, rather than how to get out. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, could you please explain Shuddha Sattva and how it appears, descends in our consciousness? How would we know it is real, not just our own imagination or hallucination? Wow. That is also such a nice question. So basically, Krishna answers this in Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, There you go, here. So in the second chapter, text 54, Arjuna, he asked the same similar question. O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is just merged in transcendence? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Similar question, right? What is the symptoms of a person whose consciousness is merged in transcendence? Here, Shuddha Sattva means pure goodness. We can say transcendence. And what does Krishna say? O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So I just say it one more time. When a man or woman gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification. So how do you know that you're in Shuddha Sattva and descended into your consciousness, how you phrased it? And how do you know this is real and not just your own imagination? You can just ask yourself, how much are you attracted to material sense gratification? If you are, then most likely you're not in Shuddha Sattva. And we can see as well, my Guru Maharaj, he was pointing that out, that we can see who is who by how much they're ready to sacrifice for Krishna. Because you cannot sacrifice for Krishna artificially. It is not possible. In the same way, like Gopinath Patanayak, he said, I just surrender unto you and you just make me completely detached from worldly affairs. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you're a family man. You go through that. You're my servant still, but you're a family person. So also, we cannot artificially give up our material desires. We cannot, like even going back to question about the anarthas, we cannot artificially give up our anarthas. We can do so for some time, but not for very long. Therefore, a person who can sacrifice for Krishna, who is dedicating his life to serve Krishna in different ways, right? It's a spectrum, it's not 0 or 1. According to how much he's able to do that, we can judge how advanced is this person, how much Shuddha Sattva, how much pure goodness is in this person's consciousness. And we can always try to give a little more than what we are on, right? We can't give much more than what we have, but we can try to give a little bit more. And in that way we will make improvements. Okay, that was actually the last question. There was one more line, but the person was just saying thank you, so it was not a question. Yeah. Okay. I think we're right on time. Yeah. Then I hand over the mic to Mataji.
So we would like to thank Nrikesari Prabhu for such an amazing class. Let's give him a huge round of applause. That was a very, very enlightening class, Prabhu. I think for many of us that have read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, you've given us the boost to want to read it again. And for those of us that have not read it, I'm sure you'll feel very encouraged to now read any one of those books. So thank you. I also know that Prabhu's leaving in a few days.
Yes, Monday.
Monday. So Prabhu's leaving back to Australia on Monday. So we would like to thank you so much for coming to our Namahasha, Prabhu. And Ganga Mataji, we give you the responsibility to make sure Prabhu comes back really soon. You must come back and we will look forward to your wonderful association and very enlightening class. So let's give Prabhu another huge round of applause. So at the last Namahasha, I announced that we would like to include something different into our program going forward. We want to take the 4 regulative principles, And every Namahasha, we will do one regulative principle. So we had some very eager devotees that very willingly has offered to do this very first skit for the Mercy Namahasha, and that would be the first regulative principle being no meat eating. So just before I call him up to the front to render the skit to us, I just want to say that this skit that you're about to watch is not to create any offense to anybody. We are respectful to everybody's choices, their lifestyles, their diets. This is not to create any offense, but this is to create an awareness of the 4 regulative principles. Because I'm sure many of you seated here do not know the 4 regulative principles. So this is merely our way of making you all aware of what the 4 regulative principles are and to have a deeper understanding of the 4 regulative principles. Because when we understand why we follow the 4 regulative principles, then we can appreciate the 4 regulative principles. Because we are not taking this, we're not pulling it out of thin air, it's coming straight from scripture. So when we understand the regulative principles, we become aware of it, we become respectful to it, we actually appreciate Srila Prabhupada's teachings, we appreciate scripture. So once again, as you are about to watch the skit, please, our humble request to bear in mind, this is not to create any offense, but this is to create an awareness, an appreciation, and a respect for Srila Prabhupada and our amazing scriptures. So I'd like to call our 2 devotees that have so willingly come forward to do the very first skit for the Mercy Namahasha, so we're going to give them a huge round of applause. I'd like to call Keegan and Mahavasar Prabhu. Haribo, let's give them a huge round of applause and encouragement.
Thank you, Lord. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can see me?
Bruh, they don't call you Cutneck Bobby for nothing,
Sir
right?
biryani, anybody?
They don't
Sir
call
biryani?
you Cutneck Bobby. Anyways, let me buy.
Sir
I see
biryani?
1, 2 polices over here. They're giving something out. Let me check what they're giving. Okay, meet up, guys.
Sir biryani for you.
What kind, uncle? What kind? What you got? How's it, sergeant? What you got there? How much?
I'm not the police. I'm just a Food for Life member, just handing out some free biryani.
Some biryani.
Yeah.
Al, I'm buying to my bra Pregarson's pose. You know Pregarson?
No.
He stays 2 roads down on Flamboyant Drive, number 69. It's on the left, right? His mother-in-law's cooked us a half-loaf crab curry bunny, uncle. Oh, she uses his deadly mother-in-law spices. You know you get it Victoria Street in Durban, by the market?
Yeah.
This thing here, uncle, it's a stinger. When you eat this thing, the tears come rolling down. You see the spices coming in the face like red glitter. Everything in the face is dripping. Your nose is dripping like an all gold tomato sauce. It sits here on the cheek. And the tongue is on fire. You don't know what to do. You're drooling like one 2-year-old Ghana. So this is a thick chow, uncle. But you need, it will put you to sleep, but you need to have 1 stiff shot of vodka to bring you back from the dead. So anyways, let me check this thing out now. Uncle, what happened, uncle? There's no meat here. Don't tell me you're from the same crew that came last week Sunday. There was one mad auntie, she was walking up and down the district, screaming, Sam Priani, Sam Priani, Sam Priani, driving us nuts. 12 o'clock on a Sunday morning, so early, uncle. I'm so busy dossing. But from my sleep, I heard softly like, shared biryani, shared biryani, shared biryani. And I thought to myself, Hey, when last I had shared that? Plus now, me too, from my sleep, I got a problem with my ears. I got involved with one big speech last month. This one fella hit me with a thunder, he bust my eardrums, so I got a problem with my hearing. But uncle, I hit him with a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick, I put him to sleep. So anyway, uncle, why you're not giving out meat? You're also on a cost cutting like the government.
Not really. Yeah? So, if you really understand what meat eating is all about, then you'll understand why we're not doing this. So, you think of an animal. What you like best?
I like mutton and crab and prawns.
Okay. Let's take the mutton. You like lamb or you like...
Lamb, uncle. We can't bite too much now.
So, now, try and imagine this now. This young lamb, just been born, crying out for his mother, and the mother is just taking care of the poor lamb. And there's this sorry, your name is?
It's Puvalingam, but my brass call me Puvi.
Puvi. So Puvi, imagine this young innocent lamb. Now the lamb is symbolism of innocence. Now this young, beautiful lamb, now because Puvi now likes to eat that lamb, that poor lamb has to be cut, chopped, and eaten, cooked, and then with that marvelous spices of yours, that thing has to be cooked and eaten. Now, try and imagine if somebody likes eating you, what grade meat you are?
A grade, uncle. A grade.
Must be full of crab and everything. So now imagine somebody likes, crab in another way, and they come to Puvi and say, so nice, Puvi, can I take a bite? So imagine that somebody come and eating you or somebody you love. You'd like that?
No.
Okay, but on a higher aspect, Lord Krishna says that one who eats without offering to me merely eats sin.
Yeah, uncle, what you talking about committing sins here? The only sin I'm committing is standing here tuning with you while that hot crab curry bunny is getting cold and the cold noodle is getting hot. I never killed a crab. Maybe Pragasan's mother-in-law by there by Tinley on a beach, she caught one king crab, she broke it on his head with a rolling pin, but I never killed it. Oh, I'm committing the sin.
I understand, but okay, let's start from the basics, right? Let's start from the basics because it seems that I think it'll be a better understanding. So if I ask you who you are, what will your answer be?
I'm Puvi from the files.
Oh, but Puvi is your name, but who you are?
I'm a boss, uncle. I'm a outie. What kind?
I can see you're an outie. I can see all those things, but you still don't know who you are.
Well, uncle, I don't know what to say. You're confusing me. You also got a problem with your ears.
No, I can see nicely. Okay. Raise your left hand. Whose hand is that?
My hand?
Okay, your right hand.
This is my hand too. What kind?
And the head?
This is my head.
The whole body?
This is me. My body. I own this body.
Okay, so you own the body. Who are you then?
I'm Puvi, uncle. What kind, uncle? You need to tell some meat, uncle. I'm telling you. What's going on here?
So this whole body belongs to Puvi. Where is Puvi? I can't see Puvi.
Puvi's right here. You got a problem with your eyes.
That body is Puvi's.
Hey, uncle, you're confusing me. Just explain, uncle. I don't know what to say.
Okay, now we're learning something. So, Puvi is inside here. Puvi is a spiritual being. He's a living entity. He's a spirit soul. He is the entity that's keeping this body alive. This body is talking and thinking he is Puvi because of that living entity within him. Now, that living entity is of a higher consciousness than this body here. This body is just a machine. It's just a vehicle to take you from one place to another. But what's inside it, the driver of the body, is more important. So now, that crab curry you're feeding your body. But this biryani here is feeding what's inside you also, and also your body. So now, if I think about it, you're living inside yourself, inside this body that belongs to you. And next door neighbor to your body is the Lord that also resides in there. So this body is a temple. Now, if you're thinking about that lamb curry, Think about an innocent lamb. That lamb has the same soul as you. And within that lamb, the Lord resides next to that soul. Now imagine you taking the Lord out from his praise there just because you like the taste of that lamb. So try and imagine that. So that is of a higher conscious. Does it make sense to you?
Hey, sort of, Uncle. So what you saying? If I'm doing this, I can come back in my next life as one gecko or one cockroach. Hell, Uncle, you don't know what we do to cockroaches in our posy. My lighty bro, he's a maverick with a doom spray. He just hits them when they're coming flying. He brings them down. Hey, Uncle, then I jump on them, I trample them, and then I squat them like, you know, Andre Pollard for the Springbok. Just like that, Uncle. Just like that. So what you say now, Uncle?
So what I'm saying, Purvi, is that whatever you're doing is on the material platform. So within you, there's a soul that needs to be fed. So you sleeping at 12 on a Sunday, that's late.
No, that's early.
Yeah. So now, let's go back to you. We started from the bottom. You understand where you are now?
I think so, yeah.
Right. So now, so inside there, you need to feed that soul of yours that is keeping you going, that making you kick like a rugby player. Right. So within that body, there's a soul. That soul needs some other kind of sustenance. That crab curry is not going to help you. That lamb curry is not going to help you. That is actually going to bring you down in life. Because you need to think on a higher level. You getting me?
Okay.
Right. So you need food for your soul. Now, whatever we offering here is called prasad. Food that is been offered to the Lord. So Krishna says that one who eats without offering to me is merely eating sin. But higher than that, Krishna says, I am the supreme enjoyer. He says, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasyam, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Surdum Sarva Bhutanam, Ganakamam Santi Murichate.
Yeah, Uncle, you're a rapper. No, man.
So Lord Krishna is saying, one who is in true consciousness of me, knowing me to be the true enjoyer of all sacrifices and penances, the Lord and Master of all the universes, obtains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So, whatever you're doing, you are breathing karma. So by you killing the crab, I know you're not killing the crab. I don't know what the guy's name is.
Pragasan's mother.
She must be killing the crab with the rolling pin. Right. But the thing is, if you're not eating it, she might not have to cook it for you because maybe she likes you a lot. She's killing the crab to feed you. So you're also sharing in itself.
Uncle, now you're scaring me, man. Now you're scaring me. So what I can do to escape all the sins and karma you're scaring me with? What prayers I must do? Must I go break village temple tomorrow and do an hour? What I need, Uncle? 3 kinds fruits and a monkey ball.
No, it's not so complicated. We've got Chakradhari Prabhu here to help you. So he is a true Vedic priest. So if you need help, you can either go to him, or the best and most easiest and sublime way is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, become a devotee of Lord Krishna. And whatever you're eating, offer it to Krishna. So remember, you walking, you talking, you killing the cockroaches, everything is karma. And every day, even those living entities that you're tramping to, you're breathing karma. And the only person that's going to absorb that karma is Lord Krishna. Because when you're acting in Krishna consciousness, so when one who understands me to be the supreme enjoyer, so everything you do must go for the pleasure of Krishna. So when you're doing it for Krishna and you commit some sinful actions unintentionally, not intentionally, unintentionally, that is when Krishna absorbs all the reactions. So even though you're walking and then you keep Puvi's dog there and you mistakenly trap Puvi's dog, there's karma involved in that.
I won't trap my dog, Uncle. What is wrong with you?
So just in case your dog is barking and something, you keep that thing and then there's sinful reaction from there. So whatever sinful reactions you get, if you're a devotee of the Lord, and you do it unintentionally, automatically the dog absorbs all the sinful reactions. So there is no karma incurred.
Okay, Uncle, I think I got it. Thank you for helping me like that. I'm so grateful. You know what? I think I'm going to take one from Malaiti Brew as well, and Pregasin and his mother-in-law. Thanks for the knowledge and giving me this guidance. I'm just taking, Uncle. I got sins and karma. Anyway, Laka, meet up.
Hi, Krishna. How awesome was that? Another round of applause to them. So I must say that Keegan Prabhu has taken to the stage of Lamarsi Namahasha for the very, very first time. So yes, well done to Keegan. And Keegan was also very, very enthusiastic and eager. He actually volunteered to do this first skit, and the entire week he has been planning and preparing. So well done to you, Keegan, and thank you so much. Very, very well done. So we have another devotee that is very also lovingly and willingly offered to do the next skit. So we're going to keep it as a surprise who this devotee is. But our next regulative principle at the next Namahasha will be no intoxication. So if you all enjoyed this, please make sure that you all are here for the next Namahasha to see the next round of our skits. Also, that means we have 2 more regulative principles up for grabs. Everyone don't pick your hands up all at once. Any takers? Wow, the enthusiasm is so nice. Now, I know that y'all will be contacting us because I'm sure after seeing this, y'all all are very, very eager to perhaps try your performing skills. So please take up this opportunity. Look, it was just 10 minutes, no costumes, no props, just some lightheartedness, just some laughs. So the next 2 regulative principles will be no gambling and no illicit sex. So if you would like to take up that, come up with some ideas, please let us know and roll with it. We're looking forward to seeing it. So I just have a few announcements to make. For those of you all may be aware and the rest of you all that don't know, the 2nd and 3rd of August is our tent campaign. If you all do not know about this, please save the date. We are having our annual tent campaign once again on the 2nd and 3rd of August. And this year we're collaborating our Janmashtami celebrations as well. So it's going to be double the fun, double the celebrations. And we're looking forward to seeing each and every one of you all there. Also extend the invite to all your family and friends. But with the big programs and big festivities, we also have, we plead and we request for everyone to please come through and assist us. We require sponsorships, we require donations, we require lots of help, lots of assistance, not just on the 2nd and 3rd of August, but even the days building up to that weekend, we do need help. So please come through and offer your assistance. As Nrikesari Prabhu mentioned in his class as well, the importance of devotional service, the importance of our bhakti. So these are the opportunities that we have to render service. And what better time of the year than in celebration for Krishna Janmashtami. So please, we look forward to seeing everybody there, and please come through and assist us. And in keeping with our Janmashtami celebration announcement, this weekend we will not be having Food for Life, as we will be starting to get ready with our preparations for Janmashtami and the tent campaign. So just this weekend we have a few arrangements and things to sort out. So this week there will be no Food for Life. I'm sure many of you all have on the Lamarsi chat, WhatsApp chat, and you all may have seen Madhurya Mataji's, she posted a few days ago in the week about the delicious soya products that are being sold by Srinivasacharya Prabhu. It's absolutely delicious. I must tell you all that I had purchased some, and even Mataji, and I'm sure many of you all have, and you all can vouch for how delicious the